Hello, Goku. Welcome back.
How's it going? Ah! Holy crap, Bulma!
Speaking of expecting, did you seriously not know, Goku? I'm going to pop any day now.
A peaceful day at Bulma's house at Capsule Corporation. Goku suddenly appears using teleportation, holding a giant fish he just caught. Goku said, "Bulma, look what I caught. It's enough to make a feast." Bulma said, "Goku, you can't just show up like that in the middle of my living room, and take off those dirty shoes before you come in." Goku looks at his own feet covered in mud and laughs embarrassedly and says, "Oh, oops, sorry Bulma, but what about the fish? It's fresh." Bulma said, Okay, take it to the kitchen, but first I need to tell you something." Goku said, "What's wrong? You look weird." Bulma takes a deep breath, crossing her arms and says, "Goku, I'm pregnant." Goku stands there, not understanding, and says, "Pregnant? With what?" Bulma rubs her forehead in frustration and replies, "It's not what, Goku, it's whose, and in this case, it's yours." Goku opens his mouth in shock, then he scratches his head in confusion and decides to say, "But how? We didn't even train together." Bulma turns red with anger and replies, "Goku, for God's sake, remember that party after the Tournament of Power? You drank that day." Goku, with wide eyes, says, "Ugh, that night I woke up with a terrible headache. I remember you threw a huge party on your yacht to celebrate Universe 7's victory." Bulma says, "Yes, Goku, that night." Goku is silent for a second, processing. Then his face lights up and says, "So, I'm going to be a father? That's awesome! I'm going to teach him how to fight, how to fish, how to fly." Bulma interrupts him, serious, and says, "Calm down, Goku. There's a little problem." Goku lands back on the ground, curious, and says, "What problem?" Bulma looks to the side, nervous, and says, "Vegeta doesn't know yet." Goku swallows hard and says, "Oh, yeah, Vegeta. Will he get mad?" Bulma raises an eyebrow and says seriously, "You think? Of course he'll get mad." Goku scratches his head, thoughtful, and says, Maybe if I fight him first, he'll be less mad later." Bulma rubs her eyes, exhausted, and answers, "Goku, I swear that one day I'll invent a machine to give you common sense." Goku laughs, not understanding the irony, while Bulma sighs, but smiles, despite everything. Bulma said, "Well, at least you're happy with the news. That's something." Goku became serious for a moment, something rare, and replied, "Of course I'm happy, Bulma. I'll take care of our son, I promise." Bulma looked at him, surprised by his moment of maturity. Bulma said, "Thank you, Goku," but the Saiyan remembered something, got excited again, and said, "Hey, how about we call him Fish, because of the fish I brought today?" Bulma slowly raised a dragon radar and threw it at him. Bulma said, "Get out of my house, Goku!" Goku disappeared with the teleportation, laughing, leaving only the giant fish on the living room floor. Bulma took a deep breath, trying to calm down, when suddenly, Goku said, "Oh yeah, I forgot the fish." He reappears out of nowhere, catching the fish. Bulma said, "I already told you not to show up like this." She picks up a vase and throws it at him, but Goku has already disappeared again. Bulma said, "Why do I always get into this trouble?" Meanwhile, on Beerus's planet, Whis was thinking about what delicious dish he would eat next, when suddenly the staff vibrates. A hologram of Bulma appears. Bulma said, "Whis, I need your help. It's urgent." Beerus, who was sleeping, opens one eye. Beerus said, "Whis, if it's that woman screaming again, I'll destroy her planet." Whis said, well, Lord Beerus, she brought special sweets." He shows a rare treat from planet Earth. Beerus sits up quickly, interested. Beerus said, "Continue." Bulma said, "Whis, it's about Goku. Something complicated happened." Whis said, Son Goku did something stupid again? What a surprise." Bulma said, "It's not stupid, it's, well, I'm pregnant, and he's the father." Beerus almost chokes and says, "What? Does Vegeta know about this?" Bulma said, "Not yet, and that's the problem." Whis touches his chin, thoughtful. Whis said, interesting. And what do you expect me to do?" Bulma said, "I need a plan. Something that will keep Vegeta from blowing up half the galaxy when he finds out. And also, there's Chi-chi." Goku appears out of nowhere next to Whis with his teleportation. Goku said, "Hi guys, let's train." Beerus said, "I can't believe something so serious is happening, and he's thinking about training." Whis said, Goku, just the person we needed. Are you aware that your wife might be a little upset with this news?" Goku turns pale when he realizes the big problem he's in, and says, "If Chi-chi finds out that I'm going to have another child with Bulma, she'll kill me." Bulma said, "And don't forget about Gohan." how do you think he'll react when he finds out he's going to have a half-brother? Goku scratched his head, laughing nervously, and said, "Ah, he's a quiet boy, right? He'll understand." Whis sighed as if he was dealing with children. Whis said, "Very well, let's settle this diplomatically. First, no one tells Vegeta anything yet. Second, Goku brings Chi-chi here, we'll all talk in person." Beerus laughed, amused. Beerus said, "This will be better than the fighting tournaments." Bulma said, "Whis, could you at least tell Goku what to do? He can't go up to Chi-chi and say, 'Hi, honey, Bulma's pregnant and the baby is mine.'" Goku said, "I'm not that dumb." Everyone looks at him in silence. Goku said, "Okay, maybe I am." Whis nods, resigned. Whis said, "Very well. I'll bring Bulma here, and you, Goku, like I said, will call Chi-chi to come here, and we'll explain in the least disastrous way possible." Goku smiles confident. Goku said, "Okay, I'll go get her." He raises 2 fingers to his forehead. Bulma said, "Wait, Goku, don't, But it's too late. Goku disappears. On planet Earth, at Goku's house on Paozu Mountain, Chi-chi is cooking when Goku appears out of nowhere. Goku said, "Hi, Chi-chi, I need you to go with me to talk to Bulma and Whis." Chi-chi looks at him suspiciously. Chi-chi said, "Goku, what did you do this time?" Goku was sweating coldly and said, "Oh, nothing much. Just something we need to take care of." Chi-chi crossed her arms and said, "If this is about you disappearing to train again, I swear I..." Goku grabs her and uses teleportation before she can finish her sentence. On Beerus's planet, Chi-chi appears, confused, and sees Bulma, Whis, and Beerus looking at her. Bulma smiles nervously. Bulma said, "Hi, Chi-chi, what a surprise!" Chi-chi looks at Goku, then at Bulma, then at Bulma's belly. Her eyes narrow. Chi-chi said, "Goku, what exactly is going on here?" Goku swallows hard and says, "Well, you know how things happen sometimes?" Chi-chi starts shaking with rage and says, "Goku, you cheated on me." Goku angrily says, "It wasn't on purpose. It was at the party after the Tournament of Power. I was kind of dizzy from that weird juice." After Goku's words, absolute silence fell on Beerus's planet. Bulma says, "Well, it could have been worse." Chi-chi turns to her, furious. A red aura surrounds her and she says, "And you, Bulma, how could you do this to me?" Bulma raises her hands and says, "Chi-chi, it was an accident. We weren't even thinking straight." Chi-chi is about to explode when Whis intervenes. Whis says, "Everyone calm down, Chi-chi. Let's resolve this civilly." Chi-chi takes a deep breath looking at Whis. Chi-chi says, "Okay, but Goku will pay for this." Goku says, "I'm really scared right now." Beerus laughs, watching intently. Beerus says, "This is better than TV." While they argue, in another place in the universe, Vegeta is training alone when he feels a chill. Vegeta clenches his fists and says, "Someone is hiding something from me, and when I find out who it is, there will be no stone left unturned." Meanwhile, in another place, Gohan says, Did someone mention me?" He goes back to his books, unaware of the coming chaos. In outer space, Vegeta floats amidst the asteroids, sweating after an intense workout. Suddenly, he feels a disturbance in his ki. Vegeta says, "Kakarot? Why is he on Beerus' planet? And Bulma too?" His eyes narrow. Something is wrong. He wasn't invited. And when Bulma hides things from him, it never ends well. Vegeta says, I'd better go check it out." Then the Saiyan Prince uses his teleportation and shoots towards Beerus' planet, his ki burning with determination and a slight jealousy. On Beerus' planet, the argument between Bulma, Chi-chi, and Goku is still going on when suddenly the air shakes. A familiar power approaches. Whis says, Oh, looks like we have a visitor." Before anyone can react, a loud crash shakes the ground. Vegeta appears. His gaze burns with silent fury. Vegeta spoke. "Would anyone like to explain to me why my wife is hiding here with Kakarot?" Goku, still with a lump on his head from Chi-chi's beating, raises his hands. Goku spoke. "Hey, Vegeta, calm down. I can explain." Vegeta ignores him and looks at Bulma. His eyes lock on her, and then for an instant he notices something different. Her ki is different, more alive. Her face contorts in a mix of shock and fury. Vegeta spoke. "Bulma, you're pregnant." A dead silence falls over Beerus' planet and Bulma swallows hard. Chi-chi crosses her arms. Goku smiles nervously. Beerus opens one eye, interested. Beerus spoke. "Finally, it was getting boring." Vegeta doesn't wait for any more answers. His aura explodes in a purple gale of fury. Vegeta shouted, "Kakarot!" He charges forward like lightning, punching Goku in the face, sending him flying for miles to Beerus' planet. Bulma screams in despair. Vegeta, stop! Chi-chi says, Goku, if you think that this beating you're getting wasn't enough, I'll send you to another world myself, you irresponsible. Goku stands up, wiping the blood from his chin. Goku says, Vegeta, listen, I didn't mean to. Vegeta attacks him again, this time with a punch to the stomach that makes Goku double over. Vegeta says, Accountant Lee, you put your hands on my wife Kakarot. Goku blocks the next punch, his face becoming serious. Goku said, Fine, if that's how you want it. His aura explodes in Ultra Instinct. The two collide in midair, punches and kicks exchanged at impossible speeds, the planet shaking with each impact. Bulma and Chi-chi yell at them to stop, but the fight only escalates. Beerus yawns. Beerus said, Whis, this is making me sleepy. Stop it! Whis sighs, twirling his staff. Whis says, Well done, well done. Looks like I'll have to repeat what I did to Bulma before the Tournament of Power. He slams his staff on the ground. A cosmic light envelops everyone, and suddenly time speeds up. Blurry scenes pass. Days, weeks, months. Bulma's pregnancy progresses in the blink of an eye, until finally, time returns to normal. Bulma is holding a baby wrapped in a blue blanket. Chi-chi stands beside her, surprised. Goku and Vegeta, who stop fighting, blink in confusion. Goku says, what happened? Whis smiles, pleased. Whis says, Congratulations, you two, you're now parents. Vegeta looks at Bulma, then at the baby. His face goes through every humanly possible emotion in 3 seconds. Vegeta says, This is a joke. Bulma picks up the baby. The newborn has long blue hair like hers, but Goku's round black eyes. Bulma says, Vegeta, meet your son. Vegeta gasps. Goku, still in the air, falls to the ground, open-mouthed. Goku says, Wow, he's just like you, Bulma, but he has my eyes. Chi-chi looks at the baby and, against all expectations, smiles. Chi-chi says, He's beautiful. Vegeta looks like he's about to explode again, but then the baby opens his eyes, looks directly at him, and smiles. Something in Vegeta's heart breaks. He approaches slowly and carefully. Silence. Everyone looks at Bulma. Bulma says, Well, let's think of a name. How about Goku Jr.? Vegeta almost falls to the ground. Vegeta said, Goku Jr.? Why did you name your son Goku? Are you crazy? Goku laughed. Goku said, Haha, I like it. Goku Jr. is cool. Vegeta growled but looked back at the baby. Little Goku Jr. grabbed his finger with surprising strength. Vegeta sighed and said, Okay, I accepted defeat to Goku in the worst possible and unimaginable way. Bulma smiled. Because despite all the problems, everything seemed to be going back to normal. Over time, things got better. Chi-chi, although still angry, accepted Goku Jr. as part of the family. Gohan, when he found out, was shocked, but then excited to have a half-brother. And Vegeta, well, he denied it. But he had been training Goku Jr. in secret since day one. In a final scene, Goku and Vegeta watch the sunset on Beerus' planet, while Goku Jr. sleeps in Bulma's arms. Vegeta says, If this boy isn't a warrior worthy of my blood, I swear I... Goku says, Relax, Vegeta, he's going to be amazing, after all. He smiles, looking at his son. He's ours! Vegeta doesn't answer, but the corner of his mouth lifts, almost a smile. In the backyard of the Capsule Corporation, there was silence, only illuminated by the blue lights. Beerus is lying in a reclining chair, snoring lightly, while Whis watches with an amused smile. Whis says, Lord Beerus, you're snoring. That's rude. Beerus in the dream says, No, it can't be. Goku and Vegeta had a child together. Beerus wakes up abruptly and screams, Ah! Whis says, My, what a terrible nightmare you must have been having. Beerus stands up, panting, looking around as if expecting to see the apocalyptic baby. Beerus said, Whis, that was horrible. I saw Kakarot and Vegeta. They were parents, and the child had incredible power, and the mother was Bulma. Whis covers his mouth to keep from laughing. Whis sarcastically says, Oh, that's scary. Beerus growls, rubbing his eyes. Beerus says, This is not funny. If those two idiots had a child with Bulma, it would be the end of everything. While Beerus and Whis talked, Bulma walked through the hallways of Capsule Corporation with her little Bulla in her arms. The blue-haired baby was babbling happily. Bulma said, That's right, princess. One day, all this company will be yours. She laughed as she tickled her daughter's belly, who responded with childish giggles. Suddenly, a loud bang shook the building. Familiar screams echoed through the hallway. Goku said, Hey Vegeta, that almost hit my head. Vegeta said, That was exactly the goal, Kakarot. Bulma sighed, accustomed to the two warriors bickering. Bulma said, "Those two never change, do they, my daughter? They're always seeking more power. You're not going to be like that, are you, Bulla?" Beerus, still scared by the nightmare, said, "Yuck, those noisy Saiyans. At least everything is normal. Ha ha ha," we said. "But Mr. Beerus, weren't you the one who said that a peaceful universe is a boring universe?" Meanwhile, Chi-chi watched the scene from the balcony with a motherly smile. Chi-chi said, "At least Goku is having fun. But if he breaks anything else, he'll have to fix it." The sun was starting to set, painting the sky in orange tones. Goku and Vegeta stopped their game momentarily to admire the sunset. Goku said, "Hey Vegeta, we'll continue tomorrow, okay?" Vegeta said, "Sure Kakarot, but next time I'll beat you." Bulma appeared with Bulla in her arms, watching her family with a satisfied smile. Despite all the madness, she wouldn't trade those moments for anything. Guys, and as soon as we finished this story with the scare, because it was all just a nightmare of Beerus, but did you like seeing Goku's new son with Bulma? Comment and of course leave your like and subscribe to the channel. Bye.